welcome back to Unscripted. And we're getting closer to the end of the year.
Yeah.
This is episode 24. And we have 2 more.
It seems like we were just on episode 23, doesn't it?
It does. Because we're doing 23 and 24 the same day. So.
Yeah. You weren't supposed to say that, bro. You're supposed to leave.
They'll figure it out anyway.
The mystery behind it.
Well, you said it first.
Well, I'm also here again.
And Cade is back because he hasn't left the room.
Oh, sadly.
But we get close to the end of the year. And as our rotation goes, it is Jeremy's episode.
Hey, so I just want to let you know, you need to do your Duolingo for the day.
I'll do it tonight.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right, we'll continue now. Sorry.
Okay. But, yeah. So, Jeremy is going to talk. And we know the title, but not much else.
You know what Jeremy also did today?
What?
His Duolingo.
All right, so
gotta keep that streak going.
Yeah.
I'm at like 12. I'm over 1,200 days on that. I kind of feel bad in a way, but it feels good,
Bro,
to have that long of a streak. All right, back on track.
on top.
I just realized that y'all texted in the group chat yesterday. I didn't even see that till now.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
That's why you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I did. I had a look yesterday.
Oh,
Whoopsie.
all right, back on track.
I just went with the flow.
Yeah,
I just did.
Nice. All right, Jeremy, take it away.
All right, so today's episode, the title is When Expectations Become Hindrances. This isn't necessarily an original thought to me. I was listening to Brother Caleb Herring not long ago, and he was talking about expectations, and
I got my whole message from that, and I'm just going to say everything he said.
At least you gave him credit for
Yeah.
He was on this podcast, and he was talking about how expectations can hinder a ministry. And I got to thinking about it, and it goes so much further than just ministry. The particular verse that I wanted to go to first before I started talking about it is Acts chapter 12. And if you know anything about Acts chapter 12, in the beginning of it, you've got King Herod. He's killed James, the brother of John, and he saw that it pleased the Jews, so he decided that, okay, so if I got James, they were excited about that. If I get Peter, they're going to be even more excited. Something about the one that's the most vocal, because Peter was the most vocal on the day of Pentecost. Who was the one that stood up and gave the apostolic message? It was Peter.
Right, yeah.
So skip on down to verse number 10. He's thrown in prison and all of that. Verse number 10 picks up, when they were past the first and second ward, they came into the iron gate that leadeth into the city, which opened to them of his own accord, and they went out and passed on through one street, and forthwith the angel departed from him. And when Peter was coming to himself, he said, Now I know of a surety that the Lord hath sent his angel and hath delivered me out of the hand of Herod and from all the expectations of the people of the Jews. And it got me to thinking, and again, this thought originally came from Brother Caleb Herring, and that is, when you rid yourself of the expectations of people, doors begin to open on their own. God allows doors to begin to open. He emphasized that part right there in verse 10 that says, which opened to them of his own accord. That particular Greek word is only used one other time in the New Testament. And that's when Jesus is talking about the harvest, and the earth will bring forth its substance. It's used in that that particular instance as well. But it got me to thinking deeper on it. I got to thinking deeper on it, and too many times, let me get my notes back out. Too many times we allow people around us to influence us more than we realize. Their expectations of us impacts decisions that we make subconsciously. For instance, like when we're at the altar, this is the biggest one that came to my mind. When we're at the altar and we've prayed and people start going away from the altar, what's our natural instinct?
You start walking.
We start walking away as well. But my conjecture is, what if we weren't satisfied with just that little touch of the Holy Ghost in that moment? What if we continued to dwell there? I believe that many times we miss deeper things of God because we allow those around us to influence us, either good for the good or for the bad. We already know that it's important to be cautious of who we allow to influence us first and foremost. But this becomes a problem when we begin to focus on the expectations of people around us more than we focus on the one who created us, the one that deserves our worship. Think back, and then I got to thinking back to the Old Testament, Moses and Joshua.
Yeah.
Why was Joshua chosen as the one to succeed Moses? Because regardless of what was going on, Joshua hungered after God. So much so that when he and Moses went into the tent together, Moses left. Joshua stayed in the presence of God. And skipping further, coming back to the New Testament, same is true with the 12. They were given instructions upon the ascension to go and to dwell in Jerusalem. God didn't give them a time frame. Go and wait a week. Go and wait 5 days. Go and wait 2 days. He just said, go and wait until you be endued with power. So I like to think, well, no, not just me. If you think about it, there were how many people there at the ascension? There were more than 12.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like a couple
There's
hundred?
more than 120.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably
If I'm remembering correctly,
about 500.
I was thinking there was upwards of 300.
Yeah, probably 300 to 500.
Well, they go to the upper room, and then we get to Acts 2, and we read that there was just 120 in the upper room. So what happened to the rest of them?
Right, yeah.
They allowed expectations of people around them, and their desire to do whatever prompted them to leave. They got disillusioned for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. But that 120, what if they had not desired the deep things of God? What if the expectations of those that were leaving impacted them? But the main thing is, too often I believe we don't get everything from God that He has for us because, like when we're at the altar, we're content with that little 5-minute prayer. Okay, God, you've done what you were going to do. I'm going to go. But perhaps we've missed.
Compromise.
We compromised. We miss what God really had for us. Maybe a breakthrough or a blessing, or in some instances, a refreshing was just on the other side. If we'd have waited maybe 5 or 10 more minutes, lingered 5 or 10 more minutes, we'd have received a greater touch.
Right.
And we've had services like that where It's the natural ebb and flow.
Mm-hmm.
Where it kind of rises up, then kind of slows down, and you can tell it's not over, especially at an altar. I mean, we've had it like during worship when just the Holy Ghost moved in, but we've experienced that at the altar where it's like it's a tarrying spirit there.
Right.
Like you want to tarry because you're waiting, and you don't want to leave, and then you get that second flow come back up, and then it gets deep. And we've experienced that here, and I've experienced that many times. But, you talking about that, I was thinking that there's a lot of times we come into a service with expectation. Because you may have a need yourself. You may say, God, I need this word from you tonight. And if I don't get it, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then the music worship service, you don't feel anything. The preaching, that's not what you wanted. At the altar, you didn't feel anything. Again, your expectation of what you think you needed or think you wanted didn't line up with what God could have given you. But you come in with that expectation, like, I need this. I don't want to dance. I don't want to shout. I don't want to lift my hands. Because you have an expectation of the way you want it to be done. And where we know that God doesn't work that way.
And that affects the others around you,
it
too.
Does. Yeah.
It really does.
Because it may be that you need to lift your hands, you need to run the aisles, you need to shout, and then that's just going to help somebody else.
Well, I mean, you notice every church is going to have a group of people who are very dedicated in their worship, and unfortunately, it becomes noticeable when they're not there because the worship of other people will be affected by that. Now, we should all strive to be that person that steps out to start worshiping God with that expectation of great things going to happen. But, if you don't have that person who's going to step up and do that, who's going to be the person?
Yeah.
Because after one person does it, another person goes out.
It's that expectation.
Right.
It's that expectation of watching those 3 to 5 people.
And it builds your faith.
Because there's people in our church that they get out there no matter what.
Right.
It can be nobody else clapping their hands, they're going to get out there.
Right.
And that's very much appreciated. And that can shift the service.
Yep.
Because everybody comes in kind of with their own thought on how it should go.
Right.
I'm guilty of it. There's been times I've looked at the
point.
songs that we were going to do. And I'm like, man, these songs just don't. It's Sunday night.
Right.
We're going to do these songs.
Right.
But at the same time, you get the worship service. Everything is set in order.
You should be able to
shout
to any song.
Yes.
It's not even about shouting. They can be slower songs.
But
you come in with an expectation of it's Sunday night, we're going to go shout.
All right, yeah.
Right.
But then God comes in and it slows down. But then you get that deep, deep blanket of the glory that just fills the house.
I mean, there's been nights where I've seen where I've been in there, maybe I was singing, maybe I wasn't, but I see the songs, and like you were saying, it's just like, Sunday night's typically a little bit more hyped up than this, but then at the same, right after thinking that, God moves in with a deeper, more sweeter touch on the congregation, and not as much about swinging from the chandeliers, but he just moves on.
Because we come in with an expectation.
Right.
Just like, we've talked before midweeks and stuff. You come in with an expectation.
Right.
Because you come in on a midweek, it's not revival, it's Bible study or teaching or whatever you may do in your church. But
and that's when you
come in here, it's like, well, we're going to sing. That ought to take us about 15 minutes.
You get low expectations.
And then we're going to have teaching. That's going to take, we'll be out of here about an hour. And then we've had services where we're like, you know what? Whoever's leading prayer or leading worship gets in there a lot. Just change your mindset, change your expectation for this service, and there's been a change.
Right, yeah.
There's been a big change.
I mean, some of the best services that I've been to, or that I've been in, it all starts. It's a chain reaction. It's always a chain reaction. Yeah. But one thing I noticed is the best services that I've been to are the ones where I'm actually doing my part. even if no one else is doing their part, which I'm trusting God that they will, and I make my mistake, and sometimes I'm not where I should be doing my part, and we all have that. But you'll notice that the best services that are for you, the best services are the ones that you're doing your part, even when no one else is. And when you get what you need.
Yeah, I mean, along those lines, though, you go in, and you go in with not an expectation of, I want the service to go like this, or not an expectation of, this needs to happen, and then this needs to happen.
What was the title of this again?
When expectations become a hindrance.
This is a really good one. I'm enjoying this.
But whenever you go in and say, I'm expecting a move of God, no matter how it happens,
you'll get something.
It changes everything.
I remember in Peak, it was Brother Wilson that preached a message that was primarily for the female attendees. Cosmic Kid. But there was still some really good stuff that you could get from that message, even if you weren't. There's always something that you can get.
Talking about you brought Peak up and talking about expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You know why your services are so powerful at Peak?
Everyone comes expecting.
Everybody comes expecting.
Because it's Peak. Because
it's Peak.
It's going to be Peak.
Yeah.
Peak is going to be Peak. And the same thing happens at camp.
Yeah. But when you get back to church, you get back into the old mindset.
Right, yeah.
So why come back and think that your service can't be as powerful as a Peak service?
Yeah.
Your favorite preacher should be your own pastor.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you should believe that he's going to minister to you.
Nobody's going to be able to talk to you like your pastor will be.
Right. If anything, your pastor, and like over time, the messages that your pastor is preaching are going to minister to you more than an average
be able to teach you to live,
conference service will.
To help you along your way of life.
Thinking about that, back a few weeks ago, past couple of months, we had an evangelist. And, I was kind of going through a season. I'm like, well, I need this. I need this message preached. I need this altar call. I need this to happen. And you know what happened?
None of it happened.
But it did happen.
Yeah.
He preached several messages in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow. That's the answer to everything.
Well, I feel like...
But it wasn't the way I expected it.
Pastoral messages are tailored to the church.
In a way, yeah.
They're tailored to you. So, I mean, that's where God's direct mail that's sent to you through the pastor is the messenger. You're going to get some of the best things you'll ever hear directly from the mouth of your pastor.
Yeah.
But, the best things you'll ever hear are coming from the mouth of your pastor.
It's true. Yeah, because, God always knows what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And then, whoever's preaching, and they're seeking the will of God, they're seeking the mind of God. And that would be like having Cody Marks come in.
Ooh.
The same thing can happen with your pastor.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because he can give him a word for one specific person.
God can use...
Just like the other evangelists.
Right.
Right. But what your pastor he could approach you privately. Outside of the preaching,
right? Yeah.
With that knowledge that God gave him, or it could be a message for a single person, but it goes across the whole church and it affects everybody.
Right, because God could use. There's not really as much of a spiritual tier on who can read your mail the most. God could use an evangelist just as well as the most powerful preaching, or most powerful preacher you've heard. It doesn't matter who's saying it. You shouldn't expect any less of anyone that's going to get behind that pulpit, because they can read your mail directly, and they can say exactly what you were needing to hear.
Yeah, that's something I think we expect from evangelists.
That's what pastors had to have a talk with us in the past about, is people having different expectations with different speakers that have came before, or different evangelists. You shouldn't have any less of an expectation, despite who the evangelist is.
Because you have some evangelists or preachers or whoever it may be that are a little bit slower. They're less toned. They're toned down.
Right,
Then you have
styles.
some. Then you have some that are like really powerful.
100 to nothing.
They just go in and they go at it. And our expectations for those that just go in, they start off at 100 mile an hour. Right. We expect, well, man, we're going to have a good church. We're going to shout. We're going to do all this. Sometimes it's not always there. That's not always what you need.
That's such a misconception that a lot of us get into. If you got into the church at a later age in your life, you think that the powerful services are always going to be the loud ones, but that's not always the case.
It's not always.
That's never really the case. It's not always the powerful ones.
Because we need a shout.
Right. Well, no, I want to add to that, but being loud in everything you do, but when God moves, it can be quiet.
Right. It can be peaceful. It can be,
but always do
not
your
to say
best.
that it can't be loud. It definitely can.
No, I'm saying always to do your best to be loud when it comes to seeking after God, not God's moves.
Well, an effectual,
fervent
prayer of a righteous man.
It's about passion.
Right.
Really, it's about passion.
And passion is often followed by noise. Right. And now, if things are supposed to get like a sweeter and deeper feel from God, then the tones will go quieter, but it'll still be bold. There's going to be a boldness behind each prayer.
Because, there's times you need a shouting service.
Right.
There's times you just need to break loose in the Holy Ghost, because your shout is really where you get your breakthrough.
Right.
Prayer, of course, prayer helps.
Those services make you refreshed.
But there's shouting services, man, you just feel good after it.
Right.
But there's times where whether you have preaching and then have a deep move, or you have worship and a deep move comes from that because of worship. Either way, some of those are more impactful on your life because you get, you may be out there, crying every last tear you have,
right?
Just weeping in the presence of God, and that changes something else. Both of them have their place.
Yep.
But you come in expecting a Sunday morning, like, man, everybody's always tired on Sunday morning. Well, let's just see what happens. But when you come in and you have pre-service prayer and start praying, say, God, let your spirit move.
Right, just let your will be done.
Let your will be done. Let there be liberty. If just because you're tired, don't mean somebody else is.
Right.
Someone's going to get out there, and that's going to wake you up and get you doing your part. And
a lot of our church, but a lot of churches, you have Sunday school, so you have a lot of teachers out.
Right.
So you have a smaller
congregation
on a Sunday morning, and you look across there, and it's like, man, there's not a whole lot of people here. I wonder what kind of... We may not have a good church this morning.
Oh, that's another mindset.
But that's a mindset.
That's another mindset right there.
Mindset and expectation.
The number of people affects church.
They have, what's the word? Mindset and expectation.
Your paradigm?
Co-inhabit. Because you have to have a paradigm shift.
Right.
Of, this was the old way. And I'm going to change my mindset. But I'm also going to allow my expectation to change in that mindset.
Yeah.
To where, like I've said it before in pre-service prayer, just because it's a Tuesday night, it's the same God that was here on Sunday night when we had a blowout in the Holy Ghost.
Right.
The same God that was at your shouting service is the same God that's at your Bible study.
Yeah. It's your expectation when you walk in the doors. And I think that's one of the other reasons why pre-service prayer is so important.
Yes.
Is you're aligning your heart and your mind with God. If you're truly seeking God in it. To have I came in with this, but you aligned yourself with God. So you shifted your thinking, you shifted your expectation of what's going to happen in that service.
All it takes is two people that are expecting, just like it says, two or more are gathered.
Yeah.
What it's talking about there.
And where two or three agree.
Right. And, those two and those three, for God to really be there, they've got expectation. Because just two people in general isn't going to have him there. But two people in his name, they're there. And what that means is they know God's there.
Mm-hmm.
I think this has been good.
Anything else?
This was
awesome.
Some good conversation.
That was. We could take that for a while, probably, and stretch it and turn it over and look at it several different ways.
We talk about remembering and we talk about expectations.
Yeah. So don't let your expectation rule your life. That's basically the gist of it. Mm-hmm. Because if you have an expectation and something doesn't happen the way that you thought it would happen, that kind of hurts your faith.
But also,
but you're putting the box around God. Instead of handing it to God, say, I don't know how this is going to happen, but here you go.
Right. Just keep good expectations.
Yeah. Go expecting and knowing that God can do anything.
Right.
Instead of saying, God, I need this.
No, that doesn't mean...
I need this, and I want it this way, and this to happen like this.
Now, it doesn't mean to go out expecting $1 million to drop in front of you, but just keep realistic, godly expectations, and those things will start unfolding before you when you let it all work out.
Very true. All right. Well, that wraps that up. So,
this has been fun.
It has. So, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave us a comment for the final episode of this year. We are going to do kind of a recap, year-end review thing. We aren't sure yet. But leave a comment. Let us know your most favorite episode of this year.
And share the podcast. Share it to your friends and family.
Yeah, tell people.
Listen with your friends and family.
Yeah.
Join the conversation.
So we're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and we have link trees on all three of those to everything else. So go find us, tell somebody about it, and we just hope we leave you with some encouragement and brighten your day. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.